Let me start with something that might irritate you. The people who wake up at 4:47 a.m. without an alarm clock, they are not disciplined, at least not in the way you think. If you believe early waking is about motivation, productivity hacks, or cold showers and grind culture, you are missing the real psychology, because the truth is far more uncomfortable. Some people don't wake up early. They can't help waking up early. And the reason why? It has nothing to do with time management. It has everything to do with control. Let's begin with a question. Have you ever noticed how some people naturally wake up before their alarm, even on weekends? No panic, no rush, no snoozing 5 times. They just open their eyes, alert, like their brain scheduled the sunrise. That isn't willpower, that's conditioning. And conditioning is psychological architecture. Here's the first uncomfortable truth. People who wake up early without alarms often have a heightened internal vigilance system. Their nervous system does not fully power down. It rests, but it never fully disengages. Why? Because somewhere in their development, unpredictability existed. Maybe it was chaos. Maybe it was responsibility at a young age. Maybe it was pressure to perform. Their brain learned something powerful. If I wake up first, I control the day, and the brain loves control more than comfort. Let's break this down scientifically. Your sleep-wake cycle is regulated by your circadian rhythm, heavily influenced by cortisol and melatonin. But cortisol isn't just a stress hormone, it's a readiness hormone. People who consistently wake up early often experience a predictable cortisol spike before the sunrise. The body prepares before the world moves. This isn't random, it's trained. Now, here's where it gets deeper. There are 3 psychological profiles commonly seen in natural early risers. Profile 1, the strategic controller. This person hates feeling rushed, hates unpredictability. They wake up early because the quiet morning gives them psychological leverage. No noise, no demands, no competition. The early hours are a territory of dominance. They don't wake up early for productivity. They wake up early for psychological sovereignty. If you wake up first, you cannot be caught off guard. The quiet achiever. This person feels most powerful when no one is watching. They don't want applause, they don't want noise, they want uninterrupted momentum. The morning gives them that, before messages, before expectations, before social comparison. The early morning becomes a psychological sanctuary, and sanctuary creates consistency. But here's the twist nobody talks about. Not all waking up is healthy. Sometimes it's anxiety in disguise. When your mind wakes you before the alarm repeatedly, it may not be discipline. It may be anticipatory stress. The brain scanning the future, running simulations, preparing for threats that don't exist yet. You call it productivity. Your nervous system calls it hypervigilance. Think about it. Have you ever gone to sleep worried about something important? An exam, a presentation, a confrontation, and somehow you wake up before your alarm. That is your brain refusing to relax completely. Because unfinished tasks activate the Zeigarnik effect, your brain's discomfort with incomplete goals. For some people, that effect never turns off. They live in constant forward anticipation. That's why they rise before the clock demands it.
Now let's talk identity. When someone begins waking early repeatedly, something shifts. It becomes who they are. I'm an early person. Identity is the strongest behavioral anchor in psychology. Once behavior becomes identity, it stops requiring effort. This is why forcing yourself to wake early fails. But someone who sees themselves as disciplined or ahead of the world, they don't need an alarm, because waking early reinforces their self-image, and the brain will protect identity at all costs. There's also a dopamine factor most people miss. The morning offers uncontested progress. At 5 a.m., there are no interruptions. Every task completed feels amplified. Your brain registers high reward for low friction. Over time, the brain associates early rising with clean dopamine, not chaotic dopamine like scrolling, but earned dopamine. That reinforcement loop makes early waking automatic. Now, here's something controversial. Many high achievers wake early not because they love mornings, but because they fear falling behind. Competition drives rhythm. If you believe someone else is working while you're sleeping, your brain adjusts. It doesn't want you to be second. This is especially true in performance-driven personalities. Their mind is a silent scoreboard, and sleep feels like surrender. But there is another layer: autonomy. Morning is the only part of the day most people fully own. From 8 a.m. onward, the world makes demands. Bosses, family, messages, notifications. But 5 a.m.? That belongs to you. People who crave autonomy unconsciously protect it. They wake early to secure time that cannot be invaded. It is less about productivity, more about psychological freedom. Now let's confront the uncomfortable shadow. Some early risers struggle to sleep deeply because their mind equates stillness with vulnerability. If you grow up needing to anticipate problems, your brain learns relaxing too much is dangerous. So it light sleeps, it wakes early, it prepares. From the outside, it looks impressive. From the inside, it might be survival coding. But here's the empowering truth. When early waking is intentional, not fear-based, it becomes a psychological weapon. Because the first hour after waking determines cognitive direction. No distractions means clarity. No social input means self-generated thought. And self-generated thought builds internal authority. That's why many leaders, athletes, and creators guard their mornings obsessively. They understand that the brain is most plastic in the first 60 minutes. What you feed it becomes the emotional tone of the day.
There is also a confidence element. When you wake before the alarm, you experience micro-mastery. You beat the clock. It seems small, but repeated micro-wins build internal dominance. And dominance over yourself is the foundation of real confidence. Not loud confidence, quiet, stable confidence. But here's the warning. If you are waking early and feeling drained, tense, or wired, it may not be discipline, it may be stress chemistry. The difference is how you feel upon waking. Calm alertness equals regulated nervous system. Racing thoughts equals cortisol overload. The psychology matters because early waking is a tool, and tools can build or destroy. Let's zoom out. In evolutionary terms, early risers were watchers, protectors of the tribe at dawn, scanning for threat, preparing for movement. There is something primal about beating the sunrise. It signals readiness, and readiness feels powerful, even in modern society. So what's the real psychology? People who wake early without an alarm often crave control over chaos, value autonomy deeply, have strong identity attachment to discipline, experience heightened internal vigilance, seek quiet mastery over loud recognition. And sometimes they are just wired that way genetically. Chronotype plays a role. Some brains naturally lean toward morningness, but psychology determines what you do with that wiring. Now, here's the part that might challenge you. You don't need to wake at 5 a.m. to be successful. You need psychological ownership of your time. For some, that's 6 a.m. For others, it's 11 p.m. The power is not the hour. The power is intentionality. But if you consistently wake up before your alarm, ask yourself honestly, am I preparing or am I bracing? Am I choosing this or is my nervous system choosing it for me? Because self-awareness is the ultimate alarm clock. The most dangerous person in any system is not the loudest, it's the one who is awake before everyone else, not just physically, mentally, emotionally, strategically. Waking early without an alarm is rarely about time. It's about anticipation, control, identity, and sometimes survival. The question is, which one drives you? And if you don't wake up early, maybe the real goal isn't changing your clock. Maybe it's building a life you don't feel the need to outrun. If this shifted how you see mornings, you already know what to do. Stay sharp.